Everything's fine.
Everything.
Everything's fine.
Talk to
Oh, yes, to this one.
This one. Okay.
Everything's fine. The business is thriving. The kids are somewhere. We've definitely slept. We have plenty of time. The inbox is at 0. Hi, I'm Ani.
Can't pick it up. I'm Christina. Boston Bulls, I can do that again. Welcome to Sanity Pending, where we share our grip with reality and hopefully something to give you a bit of hope with your reality too.
I don't know if you've seen this book, but I thought about you when I started to read it. Actually, I wasn't reading it. I was listening to it, but I actually went out and bought it.
It's really
because I
good.
loved
It's
so
really
many
good.
so many of the points.
Yeah, it's very good.
Because he like, I don't know, have you finished the whole thing already?
I'm midway.
Okay,
But
so
yeah.
my 3 favorite things was, first, I didn't expect to read a book about hospitality and have it be like half business learnings, storytelling, and also applicable to so many different things. So I love that he took the this concept of, let's look at what everybody else is doing and focus on what they're not doing.
Yes.
Not what they're doing and copy and do it better.
Yeah.
I really love that. And he also talks about this other thing that applies to across all the businesses that I see and work with, which is the importance to slow down, to speed up, and really look at how you're set up foundationally.
Yeah.
And the third, my favorite thing, is the honesty, the real, frank truth, which sometimes is painful to hear, but important otherwise.
Yeah, because you have to start. Yeah, all these 3 things you said are very important because I think that you have to give out there what's missing. That's how all the successful businesses working, they spot a gap in the market. What do you want and it's not there? And if you give that, then that's how you fill that gap, and that's when you get successful. And then I completely agree with you because you have to absolutely take a step back, slow down, see how you need to organize yourself. Once you put down the fundamentals, then you have your system ready, and then boom, you go. And the honesty, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. You're not always perfect. First with yourself, and say, these are my weaknesses, these are my strengths. How can I improve my weaknesses? You have to be very honest with yourself and say, I'm not good at this. Maybe I need to outsource it. Maybe I need to focus on learning that. And yeah, it's very good.
What is your experience as a female? Because he gives a lot of he has a lot of conversations with his father.
Yeah.
And his father gives him a lot of advice as a male in the industry. And there's like a few quotes that he had about what his father kept, harping on that he should remember.
Yes.
So what is your experience as a female in the industry?
Well, I think this industry is not, it's a very tough industry. Everybody says that hospitality is a very tough industry. And it is for a very good reason, because the hours are very long. You have to work with challenging people. You experience challenging people. Every day you come across really weird people sometimes that come in. You have some customers that come in and they're very difficult, and you have to, be a psychologist, and you have to.
I hate to break this to you, but this is in all the.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. I think every
it's just people. If there's people involved, there's weirdness.
There's weirdness. Exactly.
Sometimes good, sometimes not so good.
But because it's a very male-dominated industry, I think there's no. As a woman, you have to fight very hard to be heard. Even I find sometimes, even within my own restaurants, especially at the beginning. Now I try to hire as many women as possible, because that breaks up that testosterone and energy in the room and in the company, and because women also have a different way of seeing things, and even if, for example, in the kitchen, they organize the kitchen very differently, and sometimes men are more chaotic, and you need the women that that bring the balance. But the industry is really not made for women, and you have to fight to have your voice heard, even in your own company. So sometimes I
Sorry, she's calling.
It's okay. You can pick it up.
Do that later.
Sometimes I find that I have to even like I'm the boss. It's my own company. It's my own restaurants. And sometimes when my husband, business partner, says something, it resonates better with them, even if we both say the same thing. Because even whenever I say something, they want to double check with him for the final approval.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very irritating. And I have to keep fighting and establishing myself. And yeah, so it's very tough for women in this industry. And I think more women have to come out and fight for it, talk for it. And also, you know, as women that we have babies, the industry doesn't offer you the opportunity to be a mother. There's no, I mean, you can't, I don't know any female chef that's, you know, gonna come and say, oh,
I'm going to take some time
I'm going to take some time off because I want to spend it with my children. It's impossible. So it's a very tough industry. And I think we need to work a lot. It's very primitive when it comes to women.
Do you think it's education, or what do you think will change it?
I think more women have to fight for the rights, like with everything. Before the Me Too movement, things were different. Then a lot of women came out and said, you know, this, and this is happening, and I won't take it anymore. And then the whole industry changed. So I think it has to happen in the hospitality industry as well. And I think that you have some incredible chefs, incredible female chefs. They have 3 Michelin stars and very hard workers, and they need to come out and speak more about.
Well, they don't have time.
They don't have time, and I don't know. I don't know if any of them have families. Actually, I do not imagine. It's not, and it's an industry that you take one small leap, and if you take a small step back, it wipes you out. Yeah. So we're still in a very, very primitive stage in hospitality.
Yeah, it does happen in terms of the having to reestablish yourself. I remember we had a dinner with my husband and my family members, and I work in tech, and I was at Google at the time, and one of my family members looked to him and said, "What do you think about AI?" And my first reaction was like, why are you asking him?
Yes.
He doesn't work in AI. At the time he didn't. And I was shocked. I was shocked that was a question coming also from my family member to him.
Yes.
And it wasn't the first time, but that was probably the most shocking because it was such an intimate setting, and it was people who've known me my whole life. So clearly they know what I do. But yeah, I do find that establishing yourself or reestablishing yourself.
Yes.
It's almost like you have to re-summarize your the contextual background in every conversation just to prove that you have the right knowledge to have that conversation, even if you're the one owning it.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes people say to me, I want to talk to the boss. I'm the boss. No, the real boss. No, I'm the real boss. Over the years, I fought so hard to establish myself, to become fierce. And now I think with my own restaurants, I've managed to do that. And I'm, you know, everybody's very respectful, but it took a lot of years. And I'm telling you, things are not the same now that they were 14 years ago when I started in this industry.
Yes.
People were not taking me seriously. No one was taking me seriously. They only wanted to talk with Adrian, and they wanted him to
he was the decision maker.
Yeah, he was the decision maker, even though I was, you know,
his
partner
in his business.
Your
business, your joint business.
It's very annoying.
Yeah.
I have to become a ball buster. And now they get scared because I come in and I look at every single detail to the point I'm gonna bust their balls, like clean that again, do that again, do that again. So now they know. Second I'm in, they're like, okay, like she's gonna bust our balls, so just do it so that she doesn't.
So first I would say that's
sorry to interrupt. Which is annoying that I have to be that, but that's the only way I can.
Yeah. But I would say that same behavior that you're describing, like, exists in the boardroom too. It really does. And I think, you kind of, there's two things. First, the, lighter, less threatening personality can work to your benefit in terms of getting your messages across sometimes, at least in the boardroom it can. Until you almost are underestimated. And I think that can work to your benefit in a really good way in the corporate world. But equally, you have to ignore, because it's not really about whether you're educated in business or how you're educated or whatever. I think it's about a certain cultural way of being in an organization, regardless of what industry you're in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in fashion, the same behaviors exist, but in a different capacity. In corporates, the same behaviors. In tech, the same, behaviors exist. And I think it's more what you do with that, how you react to it. So if you go, I remember when, books like Lean In came out, for example, I found them, for me, so patronizing because I grew up in a house where there was no question. As a woman, I have a sister as well, from our father, of whether or not we ask a seat at a table. It's more like you're at the table.
Yeah.
So the question is, what are you contributing?
Yes.
Not whether you're at the table. And so for me, it was kind of like, okay, so what is my, kind of what he says here is, what is my gap when I'm at the most junior person at the table? And what do I need to understand that's working well and do more of and learn more about? And what am I seeing that are inset behaviors in a culture that actually don't make any sense, but everybody, 20 years ago, lots more, the like bro mentality is around the table, but less so today. But still, it's also prevalent with women. There's a lot of, over that period of transition, there was a lot of talk of, okay, well, you have, here's like a model female in some high achieving role in an organization. But a lot of the time, like you mentioned, like female chefs, the bravado had to be there so that you could match the room.
Yes.
And I think that that's what's shifted. I see that. And there's more awareness that you don't have to ask permission to be at the table. But if you're at this table, you have to make your voice count.
Yes.
So what you're saying matters more than who you are, or at least that's the way it should be. And I feel like some elements of that have to do with almost ignoring all that other noise that suck up your energy.
Yes,
so that you can just focus on the job. Because when we talk about politics in the workplace, for example, or bureaucracy in the workplace, things that get in the way of us actually doing what we need to do, it all comes down to that.
Yeah.
It comes down to like us all coming into a group, behaving in a certain way based on how we think we should be behaving. Yeah. And even if we disagree with that initially, some people go into that environment and start just sucking that up and forgetting what they stand for. And I think the ability to keep your perspective fresh and look at things from a logical standpoint, rather than this is what's happening, so I'm just going to jump on the bandwagon and do what everybody else is telling me, is really important. Whether it's about how you're operating in the kitchen, who sees you as the boss, how you react to somebody saying, no, I want to see the real boss. Yeah. I think all those things, whether you take that lightly and it's a kind of a funny moment to you, or whether that becomes this intense burden that stops you from behaving like the boss. Yeah. I think like those are the characteristics or the changes that I've seen. And I feel like becoming a mother, made me almost lose that even more. Yeah. Like 18 years ago.
Less.
Yeah.
You take less.
Exactly. 18 years ago, I started kind of caring less about what people were thinking when everything happened with my mom's death. But after that, when I became a mother, even more so. And something about, we talked about this before, but something about like being in your 40s also kind of looking at things from a different, why would I adhere to this behavior?
Don't let anybody
make sense. Yeah. Makes no sense for my business. Makes no sense for my client's business. It makes no sense for like us being happy in an environment working together. So why are we doing it?
I think it's very important that you don't let anybody and anything get in your way. If you want to succeed in the boardroom, as you said, or in my industry or whatever you do, if you really want this, just forget about all these jackasses around and just say, you're not going to get in my way. I'm going to continue going and continue going. And if you do that, I'm telling you, you're going to succeed.
Yeah.
Just keep, as you said, block the noise and don't let anybody bully you out from what you're doing.
That's what it is.
But it still happens. It still happens actually a lot. And when you were talking, I just remember that one of my best friends, she's very, very successful in the finance world. And she's one of the top directors in one of the biggest banks. When I say top, I mean she runs sometimes the New York office, sometimes top. But still, it's a very male-dominated world. And she is a mother, and she had some challenges with one of her children. Very unfortunate, very serious condition, very unfortunate. And the people in her teams were taking advantage of this to push her out. Take away the power, push her out. And so they were scheduling meetings at 7 a.m. in the morning when they knew she had doctor's appointment. They're saying, oh, you can't make it. The deal has to still go on. And then they would do it again and again. And then after 3-4 times, they told her, oh, you can't keep up with us. We have to demote you. And I remember she was in a real,
horrible place.
Yes, horrible place, because she said, I gave this bank my whole life. I work harder than all of them. I run this, I run that. Without me, they can't, close a deal. I remember us being on skiing holidays and her being on the laptop, closing the deal because the team that was supposed to be doing it, they were not doing it right. And then because of her, they got it. And it took a while. And then I remember us talking about it over a glass of wine and talking about it again and again and again. And in the end, she said, you know what? I'm going to fight them. I'm going to fight them back. I'm not going to let this. She went first. She went into the, I can't take this anymore. It's too much. She was about to quit. And then we said, no, you're going to quit. You gave your whole life for this. And people are taking advantage. And she fought them back. And she got on top. And she succeeded. And now she's untouchable.
I think so. I think the hardest bits when you're in those moments, because it's not that it doesn't happen. It's more like how you react to it. And the problem is that when you're a mother and you're in the working world, your attention and your brain space is so on with what all the thousands of things that are going on at any given moment in your life that you don't have the space to strategically look at something and say, this is wrong. No. And how am I going to give it my energy to really react to this properly so that I don't lose when I've given years of my life to do X, Y, Z. And I think that's the most difficult thing, that time out, the ability to really think. And that's what they take advantage of.
But also that's what you mentioned earlier is that you have to block the noise at some point. You have to for that moment, maybe you have to say, okay, this is going to be a very difficult month, but for 1 month, I'm going to put my head down and this is going to be my focus. And unfortunately, I'm going to lose a little bit on the attention of my family or my marriage or whatever I'm doing, but get this problem out of the way and then refocus again on everything else. Because if you have a lot of things lingering on, then it can take, then you're half good at this, half good at that. You're never paying enough attention to your family. So it's better sometimes to say, when you're a mother in business, is sometimes you'll have to make this decision and say, you know what, it's going to be a very difficult month. I have to just focus on this, get this out of the way, this thorn out of the way. But in the grander scheme of things, it's going to be only 1 month.
Yes. My dad would always give the example of, when air falls from the ceiling in the airplane. What is it called?
When
And
you
the
put the
oxygen, yes,
mask.
when the oxygen
Yes.
mask fall from the ceiling, he said, you have to put it on yourself before you help the person next to you.
Absolutely.
And there's a reason for that.
Yes.
And he would always say this to me when I was a teenager, then when I was in my 20s, then I was in my 30s. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I think when I had children, I was like, oh, yes. Because when you're alone,
Yes,
you're responsible for you, and you're kind of like, well, you can deal with more ebbs and flows. But then when you directly see the impact on the people around you, which is your partner or your children, especially your children who hide nothing about how they feel about how you're behaving or what you're doing, then you see the repercussions of not taking care of yourself. But then, or taking care of whatever problem. Yeah. But then comes the question, how do you do that? Because you have this, we already said, you get up at the crack of dawn just to be able to get through the emails and the admin that you have to get to before your kids wake up, before you have to go do a 12-hour workday.
Yeah.
So where do you even fit that in?
I think you have to have a plan. And I've noticed that recently because we just opened a new restaurant and the beginning of every opening is very crucial. So, and you know that, we've been working on it intensely for 2 years, but then the closer you come to the opening date, it becomes very intense. And now we are 1 month in, and I have to say, I haven't really seen my children I drop them in the morning to school, and then I only see them properly one Sunday a week. And it's really tough on me, and it's very tough on them as well. But unless I had to, and it's only going to get better from now, but I always knew that it's going to be a very tough first month. I prepared the children for it. I said, look, this is what's happening. They're very excited because they grew up in the hospitality industry. They've grew up, knowing their parents are opening restaurants. We've traveled together in the Middle East, in Morocco, where we're opening restaurants, and they're used to it because hospitality is also very much of a lifestyle. It's not just a regular job. So whoever is in it is a lifestyle. And our children have grown up within this pattern.
Yeah.
I created a system for my children that I knew, okay, my mother was here to help me. I have a nanny that's also helping. And then I put my head down and I said, the faster I solve all these problems, the faster I train these teams, the faster I implement all these systems, the faster I'm going to spend time with my kids again. But it was part of the plan. So you need to have planning. You need to have a system. You have to acknowledge what it is. But if I hadn't done that, then I would have a restaurant that starts on a bad foot, and then it will be a roller coaster, and you will never be able to catch up. So I prefer to sacrifice 1 month in the grander scheme of things, rather than having a whole year of like this and me being stressed because nothing is working when I'm not there and So you just have to have a plan. And you have to acknowledge it.
And you have to share it.
And you have to share it. Because once the children know this is what's happening, and they know it's for a month, and this is what's going to happen, then at least they know. They're prepared for it.
Yeah, there's no surprises.
There's no surprises. Yeah.